this episode, Melissa Mai shares her story of rebuilding her work life while prioritising her own health and presence with her daughter, and what it took to find true choice in how she earned, lived, and mothered by cultivating a life that reflects her deepest priorities. From yoga teacher to heart-led entrepreneur, Melissa's story is a reminder that feminine sovereignty starts with choosing what matters most and letting go of what doesn't. For mothers craving more presence, more flexibility, more alignment, this conversation will feel like a deep exhale. This episode might just offer you the gift that you never thought possible in living a life true to your values without regrets. This is part 2 of a conversation I had with Melissa. If you haven't already, go back and listen to the previous episode for Melissa's recount and reflections on early mothering, additional challenges of solo mothering in the pandemic. It's raw, it's honest, and I'm sure many of you will relate in some way in your own mothering journey. If you'd like to know more about the content of this episode, please reach out. Our details are in the show notes, and I've also included a free training that you can watch to find out more about the business model and income that can bring you closer to your life goals. Enjoy.
I started trying to move into the online space with my yoga work because I was like, great, if I can somehow get some things out online and do that, I can start to bring some income in that way where I'm not having to show up at a yoga studio. And so that was sort of the plan to begin with, so I could actually be present for my daughter. But yeah, as you know, I stepped into the online space with a Magic, and oh my goodness, it's been such a gift because I just got opened up to a world of, all right, I actually have choice, like real choice in my hours of work. It's really as choiceful as it can get is true. I actually have the capacity to, if I'm sick with Grace for a week because she's unwell, to do very minimal then and then pick up, and keep building after that. I really had true freedom in terms of like the hours that I worked and the times. And those hours and times were able to change constantly and be flexible. And for me, that was like it's like a golden ticket for me. I was like, wow, you might have a pathway. I can't have it all. I can't be it all. I know that. But to be able to hold on to that part of me that really wanted to give my daughter as much presence as possible because I couldn't find another way to do that in any other working system that I was in. So for me, it meant stepping out into a field that was foreign, like it's foreign. I've never, worked in, I guess, traditionally like sales. Of course, we're all in sales. I've always promoted and sold my yoga classes and all the things I'm passionate about, but not in the way that, not sales of selling a product. But yeah, for me, it has been the most beautiful gift. And it it was a key factor in me being able to buy back some time to take a breath. Like when I started in this business, and I even feel a bit of shame saying this because it's another way that people want to judge. People think that, oh, because I'm a solo mom, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be spending that money on yourself. You shouldn't be, but in order for me to like find my feet again and my health again, I needed to start all the money that I was earning, I invested in myself and my
Mm.
well-being.
Mm.
Almost every dollar outside the way, it was, I need to get support. I hadn't spoken to anyone about my pain because who am I going to, who's going to hold the space for how much was there? So working with a kinesiologist, getting body work, just someone to touch me physically. Honestly, like I hadn't had a proper hug for
Mm.
years, and just someone to just hold space for me. And I started hiring house help, someone to do my washing, do meal
Mm.
prep for me, go to the supermarket. Everything was going to the supermarket with Grace, and everything was just overwhelming. And when I started doing that, I was able to buy back a bit more time and space. And I know that that's not available for every mother, but I also didn't think it was available for me, but I
Mm.
had to really get step outside the box and get creative with what is what are the opportunities I have to be able to do a bit more of that? And yeah, the space that I'm in now was was the doorway for me to do that, and that's just continually built. I've been in, I guess, this remote sales network marketing business for 2 years, and that's been pivotal in being able to buy back more breathing space, I should say. Yeah, because yeah, it's I money used to be not so important to me, but it's it's been the thing that has enabled me to, yeah, be able to first survive and then heal, and then be able to get a bit of the best of both worlds, I guess. And I'm not, and being able to feel really fulfilled that I am a really present mum to my daughter. Yes, she's in preschool and all of that, but I drop her off and I pick her up, and yeah, I'm really with her, and I have the ability to be able to, if she needs a day off or 2 days off, no problem. We just don't go. We just hang out and play all day, and she joins me in my rhythm, and I think that having that fluidity is a real big exhale for me, because I crave so much wanting to be present and be there for her emotionally was my biggest thing. I wanna be there for her emotionally, to hold her, because I felt I wasn't held, I guess, as a child in that way, and I could see the effects of that, and of course be physically present as well. But yeah, it's one of the ways, I guess, yeah, really thinking outside the box with the way that I worked and having to let go of my identity, solely as just this yoga and embodiment teacher.
Mm.
I still do that work as a passion, but just being going, well, really weigh up what's most important for you in your life, and being able to shed and be more fluid, to really honor the season I'm in. And yeah, I'm glad that I did that, because I really still to this day can't find another pathway that could have offered me
Mm.
that. Yeah.
That's incredible. And it's certainly incredible to see how it's taken you from a place of, perhaps dysregulation and, in some ways quite broken, if I can
Yeah.
use that term, um, to thriving, to
Yeah.
literally not just surviving and getting by and, putting some food on the table, but literally thriving.
Yeah.
Tell us more about it because it can seem a little bit, I guess, cryptic to somebody that's thinking, "What the hell is she talking about?
Yeah.
What is this magic?" So, how did you
Yeah.
find it? What brought it to your into your realm?
Well, to be honest, I had known about Kangen water for maybe
Mm,
8 to 10 years prior to me starting, and I had just known about it through different other, beautiful women that I had known in the yoga industry. Actually, they had this product, and I was always being like, "Oh, that sounds really good." I wasn't like a guru on water or anything, but I knew that I liked filtered water at that time, and I was like, "That machine must be awesome." But at that time, it like yeah, I never prioritized wanting to, like, invest in a product like that. I wasn't really educated on, ionized water. Like, I had no idea what
mm,
that was. And so for me, "Oh, okay, filtration, that sounds awesome. Can't wait to go to her house and have a glass." But I never had an interest to pursue that for myself, because I was thriving in my passion work, right? But it was
yeah.
only until, I had Gracie and, Rosie, who's my mentor and sponsor, and she had been with the business for a couple of years at that time. And I actually just got to witness her evolution as a friend. She was actually a student of
Mm,
mine at the yoga studio that I, worked at in Melbourne for
okay.
many years. So I knew her that way. And she was always just beautiful, and such a beautiful human. And um, I just watched her whole being, like, literally as a woman, transform in this period of a couple of years. She separated from her partner. She stepped into this unknown space that I had no idea what she was
Mm,
really doing. And we were in constant connection, and she would actually ask me to facilitate embodiment work on her retreats that had all these women that she was working with, right? And I thought, don't know what the hell they're doing, but I'm happy to bring my services to this space with beautiful women. And I had this opportunity several times, several different retreats, to
mm,
meet 10, 15 different women every time that were all in this space, that were also like, lit up and excited by what they were doing in this space. And their community was just really beautiful. And it just had me go, what are you guys doing? And I guess I was quite inspired to learn a bit more because I'm like, something's deeper going on than selling
Mm.
water here because they're a real beautiful community. And I loved facilitating and being with them on these retreats. And I remember just writing Rosie a single email like, all right, tell me about this thing that you're doing, and it just sort of started like that. And yeah, I was drawn to it for a couple of reasons. And to be quite frank, I was like, well, I need to try the product first. For me, that was my pathway, because I wasn't very educated on, water ionization. And she lent me her K8, which is, our main product, which, has the drinking water and the 60 other uses. And then she lent me her shower filtration and remineralizer. And I just got to experience them. And I was like, I love this water. And it started to actually, I felt like I had more life and clarity. And at that time, I was drowning.
Mm.
This was major for me. And I
Mhm.
thought, and I'd come from all that heart inflammation. And I knew this had anti inflammatory properties with the antioxidants that, the molecular hydrogen that's in this water. And for me, it was like, I just feel better already from drinking this for 6 weeks. I want to keep drinking this because, for me, it was like, that's the path. I want to offer myself the best chance of giving myself a bit more energy, giving myself a bit more clarity. And then when she showed me the business model, I just thought, yeah, it's has so much possibility. And to be honest, at the start, I couldn't really understand it all, but I trusted her. And knowing, okay, I'm just going to share this product I love. I don't really know how everyone's doing or what we're doing, but I'm coachable. Like, I'm willing to learn, and I just trust in the product and its ability to, yeah. I trust in the company. Like, when I looked in it, I was like, this has been around a really long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just stepped in and sort of just fumbled my way through and just kept finding my voice and my way to do it and incorporate it with everything else that I'm doing. And it soon became my main jam. And yeah, I share it both in person. So when I meet people, I talk about it because I naturally do. And lots of people ask you, what do you do? You're like, oh, wow.
Mm.
And people who come over, but I also share it in the online space. And that's a lot of what we do, which I guess makes network marketing a lot more, I guess you have a lot more reach and it's more accessible, and it is something you can do more remotely, and you have that freedom because we are able to tap into the benefits of the online space and social media. So I definitely utilize that space and that community to grow in this, yeah, in this business.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I won't go into my story, but a similar thing really is that you can feel there's something more going on here.
Yeah, something more going on. I have no idea. They're all a little bit, but they're really, yeah, I feel like there was this like
Authentic,
energy.
very authentic. Yeah, and yeah, it's there's nothing. I mean, a lot of people, come in with different suspicions or skepticism, but you kind of keep digging for it and you can't find it.
Yeah,
It's not there because it is what it is.
yeah.
What you see is actually what it is. So, some would say, okay, you've moved very far away from their mind in what your soul led work was or what you thought it was. How would you say they complement each other? And especially in how would you say that that's complementary in the way you want to give to other women and other mothers?
Mm. I guess, from a distance, people might first look at it like, oh, okay, I guess she's, in the health and wellness space. So
Mhm.
the water complements. And that's true. And that's sort of there. But for me, you know, the greatest gift any of us can give to other people is actually to be living in our yeah, connected to our values and in our own integrity. And for me, I'm actually really proud that I chose this business because what that represented for me was me choosing to not play a victim and not go, well, I can't do that, so I'm gonna, this is the way it's gonna be. It was like, I'm actually gonna be courageous enough to make a choice so I can live in my values and really prioritize what matters most to me. And at this season in time, what matters most is my my motherhood journey and how it relates to my daughter's journey in growing, my role as a mother, and my wanting to have a really empowered experience as a mother, and for her to have, the most beautiful childhood as I can possibly give her, right?
Mm.
And also my health and well-being. They were my two priorities, and they still are those two things over everything else. And in order for me to fulfill them and step forward in them, these are the choices that I've made to do that. And so I feel that it looks left field, but those that know me, and my whole work is around empowerment with women and having them, um yeah, find more sovereignty in their life and be able to live. When we talk about heart-led living, it's like, how how do we make choices every day in a macro micro level that is tending to what our deepest values are, right? And so
Mhm.
I feel this is a representation of that personally. It is a representation of that. It is the pathway that I found to be able to do that. And I see that for so many women that step into this space. So for me, it runs, yeah, it is all in the wellness. And yes, it served my value of in health because it was supporting my health, but it's it's supported my highest purpose in this season of my life. It's deeply supporting that. And it's not really for anybody else. It's for me to be honoring what's true for me. But I feel like that's the best way we can actually impact others, is us stepping forward with what's true for us. So if it
Mm.
inspires people, awesome. If it doesn't, also awesome. Like, it's really none
Yeah.
of my business. My business is, yeah, me just living in the best way I can with what I have available to me. And in turn, when most people do that, that does have a positive impact on our wider community. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that sort of answers your question.
No, absolutely, and I feel that with you in, in the little times that I've spent with you is that what I see in you is just true authenticity. And you do have that, for me, you do inspire me a lot. And I do look at you and think you are really living your life to your truest values. Whatever part of your life you're living, it's not compartmentalized, it's all very harmonious.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, well done to you. And also, going back to the times where we have maybe some regret, or sometimes where we feel like we didn't live our best life, what I truly admire with you is that you're, first of all, you're human, and we've all had those times, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. But secondly, you didn't stay stuck there. You didn't allow yourself to, as you said, play a victim and just stay in that kind of, well, this is just the way it's going to be as a single mum. And the gifts that you've given your daughter is, and she will always be aware of the ways in which that you have continued to show resilience, even through the kind of, I guess, the more fragile moments. She's seen the true you. She's
Yeah.
seen you in all your wholeness. And she's also seen how you've moved forward through, you know, these hard times, which is sadly part of our life, isn't it? Part of reality is that we are going to have hiccups,
Yeah.
and we're not going to get every moment right. And I think even myself, like, I can easily become stuck in my feeling of, I wish I would have enjoyed those early times too, when my son was very dysregulated. And I know that I didn't do everything the way that would have been in his best interest, emotionally and for his nervous system. But it's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late to show up for your child. And the way you show up for yourself is a gift for your child.
Mhm.
And I'd love other mothers to know that the investment that you've put in your own health and your own well-being is actually a gift,
Yeah.
not just for you, but for your child to see
Yeah.
you. Yeah, to be able to witness that in you and be able to use that as a way that they want to move forward in their life.
Yeah.
I just see something really beautiful, Mel. I'm just grateful that you've shared your experiences. Can you perhaps share with us what a typical day looks like for you and Grace? Maybe it will inspire, maybe we'll be able to take a few things away from that,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to regulating our nervous systems.
Yeah. So Gracie, currently she's 5 and she has 4 days in preschool. So there's 4 days of the week that she's, you know, at her places. And then there's 3 days a week that she's with me for the whole day. But, having said that, 2 days of the week, the school that I've chosen to send her to, because it feels really aligned, with my values, and I can see the way that it's holding her, is, a 40-minute drive each way.
Mm. Of course it is.
Yes, and then the drop off process takes a time, and so I'm definitely at minimum 3.5 hours a day in getting her there and back.
Right.
So 2 of those days, not so out of the 4 days, she's in 2 different locations, but in those 2 days, it's a real dedication to what I feel that environment and community are offering her, which feels like really a gift to me. Um, yeah, there's not an enormous amount of time by the time I drop her.
No.
And then I go, "Oh, right, maybe I've got to eat some breakfast because, in the morning packing the lunches, I didn't feed myself and I fed her." So I don't, there's not an enormous amount of time. I might have, 3.5 to 4 hours before I'm back on the road doing that. But for me, when I look at my rhythm of the week, my working times are when Grace is in preschool. That's the
Mm.
times, even when I say work, what we're doing now is all work. So it's like things that I want to do that are part of the web of Melissa's life outside motherhood, right? Um,
Yes.
and that happens in these windows when she's at preschool. And to be honest, sometimes it's also when she's around, because there might be things that I need to do or I want to do, and we break up the day. But one key thing that has really helped me, I guess, manage and really just hold all that I need to hold, and also my nervous system. My nervous system is obviously resilient. Look what's happened, but it's still. I'm quite sensitive, and
Mm.
I do get overwhelmed when I'm very busy. I used to be able to be a bit more busier, but now it's just like, yeah. And I ensure that, much to others' dismay, I don't overbook myself or Grace for anything.
Mm.
And that has meant this is the first term where I've incorporated, like I can't do after school activities every day. We can't. If there's a day with me and Grace, we only do one thing a day. And that
Mm.
means if we've got a play date in the morning or we've got a coffee meet up, that's it. My day is fully booked because I like to like flow in, I guess, of an ebb and flow. And I have to do that for me to stay, my nervous system to stay regulated. And I also think it's healthy for Grace in the sense, we're out in the world, we're socializing, and then we come in and it's very quiet time. Like she, can play inside, she can do her stuff. And it's just that ebb and flow. And for me, yeah, I would have, friends say to me, "Oh, you're free." I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not doing anything, but I'm not free." And they just can't grasp.
Yeah.
They're like, "But you're not doing. You've only got. It's in the morning. What time does that finish?" I said, "Oh no, if I've got something booked on the day, my day's done."
Mhm.
And to really hold that boundary, despite how it may make others feel, has been so paramount for me. And everyone's gotten used to it now. Any day's free? Well, maybe in 2 weeks, we've got a window, but that keeps me um it keeps me regulated because rushing doesn't serve me, and it doesn't serve Grace. And so, if we book 2 things in a day and then I'm like, "Oh, we don't have stuff for dinner now, we're gonna rush to the supermarket." Things like that is just unnecessary for me. I rather just be like, "Cool, we've got the whole afternoon and we can put a supermarket ex- like trip in that
Excursion.
excursion in, like,
Yeah.
not gonna be, yeah, cramming in." And I notice such a difference when my daughter goes to sleep later than when her body really needs to go to sleep.
Mm.
And that's the same as me. It's like, it's all these ways of just, yeah, for me, it's like, yes, she does stay up late sometimes. Of course, I'm not like rigid on these things, but I just like to hold a quite a simple rhythm for us because it holds me and it holds her. And when you've got a more regulated child, it also helps you, when they're not having meltdowns every second because they're overtired, they had a late night last night, or they're too stimulated, but you don't even know, oh, they're just tired. It's like, yeah, but actually, maybe they've been like in all these environments all day with all these different people, and they actually just need quiet playtime to process and, let things settle like we all do. And so Yeah, there's not any set rhythm, but I'm pretty rhythmic and firm on the one thing a day, if that's possible. Um, and I know that gets more and more challenging with more kids, but it may not suit everyone, but I think that sometimes we have a pressure, just not just mothers and parents, but just as people to be social sometimes.
Mm,
Like, say
mm,
yes to things, and unless you've got a real reason, you feel bad, "Oh, they've invited us, or let's just go." But you really know that somehow it's gonna impact, I guess, your family's well-being or rhythm,
mm,
and
mm.
it's okay to just prioritize the main priority, which is your family unit or your health and well-being. Yeah.
I love that. That's certainly something I could learn quite a few lessons from. But I love how you said it's okay to prioritize your family unit or your own health and well-being.
Yeah,
And I think that's such an important message because I guess going back to, societal expectations, that is a big pushback that we can make
yeah,
is that we say no. We
yeah,
say no to something that we might think is a should, or we might have to do it, but we really don't.
yeah.
Recognizing that there's limitations and that, tuning into your own individual needs and your individual family needs.
Yeah,
And no two families are the same. So what might work for you might not work for somebody else. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
yeah.
So that's really fantastic.
Yeah, I guess it's that more, yeah, being able to have the space and the desire to want to bring that awareness and anchoring into what's true for you and your
Mm,
needs. And sometimes we don't do that. So we just get swept up in the vortex, like we were talking about earlier, how
mm,
easy it is to just, or everyone else is doing that. Well, they're doing all things all day. Like they're out till and everything's fine. And that's perfectly fine if that works for them. But it's, yeah, being able to anchor in so that we can move forward in a way that we're not protecting, like safeguarding from a place of fear, but just honoring our individual needs because we are all so different and we're also moving through different circumstances and our children are all different as well. And, there's so many factors.
yeah, for
Mm.
sure. What do you love most about being a mother in this current season?
Oh, so, so much. I feel so blessed that I'm in a season of motherhood that every day I feel very lit up by it. Yes, it's hard, and yes, Grace and I can bicker like all, don't worry. There's no like perfect mothering going on my end, just FYI, everybody. But I feel like, she's 5. She's just in this most divine, period of talking till forever. Like she woke up this morning, she's like, "Mummy, can we just lay in bed and talk and talk?"
Oh,
And I said, "Yes, we can." And she's touching my face and she's cuddling me and she's, chatting away. And we still sleep in the same bed for the most part. And there is a type of there's a type of pure, true intimacy that occurs between children, or children and anything, I should say, because they're the one that bring that purity. But children and mother, or children and father, or whatever, it's just something so pure and present
mm,
that is such a gift, it's
mm,
such a gift. I feel it's such a blessing to feel such a deep important purpose with her as well, as a
mm.
mother. Like I feel like I have not felt any greater purpose, even though I've, had impact and supporting humans and women through the other work. This is the greatest purpose I've ever had. And it's just such a gift to create that intimacy, I guess. It's a real intimacy.
Yes.
That's so, so precious, and I feel the fleetingness of it now, whereas before I didn't feel any
Mm.
fleeting. I was like, "This could this be more fleeting? Because this is for like, this is so," but now I'm just in such a sweet space that, yeah, even if it's hard and we have all the moments, it's overall, like, such a, yeah, a precious time.
So
Mm.
beautiful. I
Mm.
always say that we learn so much more from our children than we can ever teach them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. And that's really true, isn't it? They really have so much to offer, and we just need to allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to be present with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're so much more connected to what is true, what is good, what is right, so much connected to source and the natural rhythms that we should be, coming back home to as
Mm.
adults, but they're there, and yeah, yeah. I mean, every parent, you just find yourself sometimes with something they say or something they pull you up on, and you're like, yeah, I think you're right. You know, yeah, I think you're right, honey. And or I come back and I'm like, yeah, actually, you're on it, kid. Sorry,
Yeah.
mommy was,
Yeah.
another thing. Yeah, they teach us so much.
And just being able to break cycles is generational cycles of allowing them to teach us
Y-
and, you know, showing humility that it's okay for them to tell us something that actually
Yeah,
pulls us into line a little bit
yeah,
instead of feeling like there's a hierarchy there
yeah.
between parent child. Yeah, that's also a gift.
It really is.
What would you like to tell other mothers if you had a message for today? What would that be?
Mm. So many things I want to say. I just want to wrap you all in
Mm,
love
I
and
know.
really just celebrate you for the role is astronomical.
Mm,
Yeah, it's absolutely astronomical. But I think the greatest messaging, like the greatest message, or guess my wish is just that, and it's my own journey too. I'm not there, but is is two things: is to choose to trust in what you feel is right for yourself and your baby,
mm,
even if even if you realize later that that maybe wasn't the best thing, it's still better to practice, being in the practice of listening to your heart or your intuition or however you want to, what feels right for me and my child, and to step forward in that, because we're strengthening our connection to ourselves every time we do that. We get to be in that practice and strengthen that, because if you are somebody connected to your intuition, your heart, and your body, 1,000,000,000% you are the person who knows what's best for you and your baby, like 100% of the time.
yeah,
And we've got to, there's a real power and importance in strengthening that. And I know a lot of us can feel, some women are like, I don't even know what my intuition is. I don't really know. And others feel, I feel lost to that, or they question themselves. And that's normal based on the society we live in. And I think that practice means backing yourself, even if you get it wrong, because it's not really wrong, because you're learning from that. And
yeah,
even if it's wrong, no, it's more valuable to do that than to keep to following always the external noise. And I really trust in that. I think that the world would be a different place and children would be raised differently if people really valued and respected and honored the wisdom in the mother, and really just step back and trust that that mother baby dyad is, let them work it out, even if she's not perfect, even if she's struggling with her mental health, even if she yells sometimes. No, she is the one, like, you just, yeah, she really knows. And I really feel strongly about that, because I see so many mums just, yeah, just doubting themselves as a mum. Like,
mm,
you're the perfect
mm,
mum for your baby.
yeah,
Hone in on this, and let the noise, it's hard, but there's such value in that. And even if no one else is cheering you on, I am cheering you on. Through all
Same
the
here.
messiness. Yeah, it's a big
I
gift.
I think a lot of mothers would appreciate so much what you've just said, because it is a noisy world and there is a lot of focus on external expert advice,
Yeah,
expert input, but it's all in here
yeah,
and we just have to tap into it. And as you said, it doesn't matter if we get it wrong sometimes or we think we got it wrong. Keep going.
yeah,
Your child loves you.
yeah,
Yeah, and what you provide for them, and they know that you have their very best interests at heart.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
oh, I feel quite emotional today. I
Yeah, me
don't
too.
don't know if you can see, but my eyes have been very full of tears at times.
Mm,
So thank you. I knew it would be a beautiful, nourishing, soul-led conversation. I was very much eagerly awaiting this. So thank you so much for coming on,
mm,
sharing your pearls of wisdom. Also just sharing your own story. It doesn't have to be a certain type of experience just because you've come in with a certain set of circumstances.
yes. Yeah.
There is power in choice and in allowing yourself to really move exactly how you have with your intuition and with your heart.
Mm,
So thank you. That's been so beautiful. I appreciate you and the work that you do with mothers.
thanks, beautiful.
I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that it offered something helpful to your own mothering experience. Who is, head over to my website to receive your free copy of the postpartum checklist and contact list. And if you'd like to be better prepared for your postpartum, both practically and mentally, purchase the Peaceful Postpartum ebook, a 52-page interactive guide on what you need to know and what matters most in postpartum. And so that we can get these conversations out to more mothers, I'd be grateful if you could like, share, and review this podcast, and we'll see you next time.